What is up, everyone? It is Will. I am joined by Tabitha. I did it right. And MJ.
Hello.
We are here. We're actually doing something pretty cool. We're going to interview two of the teachers at Next Level Laser Conference
Woohoo.
at once. Well, not at once, but at the same time. So Tabitha and myself are going to interview MJ, and
Hello.
she's teaching a class at Next Level on photo editing. And then
Mhm.
halfway through, we're going to flip, and MJ and myself will interview
Tap.
Tabitha on hats. So we thought we'd knock out two birds with one stone. So as you guys jump in, please let us know you're here. Let us know where you're watching from. But we're excited. What's today? Tuesday? Yeah, 2 weeks from now, we'll be in Dallas at this
Wow.
time. We'll already all be in Dallas getting ready for Next Level Laser Conference. So
Mhm.
exciting times. Oh, we already got some comments. Let's see who's here. Victor's here. What's up, Victor?
Hi,
Thanks
Victor.
for joining us. So we're gonna just jump into this. If you guys are watching this later, it's gonna be on replay. If you do come on later, hashtag replay on there so we actually see how many people catch this later. I think that'll be kind of cool.
That
So,
would be awesome.
yep, like I said, we're joined today by MJ. She is actually one of our amazing teachers at Next Level Laser Conference. She is going to be teaching about
Photo editing for laser
photo
engraving.
editing.
Mhm.
Nice, nice. Then, and I will say, I do not edit my own photos. I outsource my photos to MJ.
Me?
So when a customer comes to me and wants their photo engraved on a piece of wood or acrylic, could I go in there and edit it myself? Yes. Does it save me time outsourcing it at times? Yes. But there are times where you want to learn these things, and we get those questions all the
Mhm.
time. People want to learn, how hard is it to do, what are some, at least some of the basics, and that's what she's going to teach you in her class. So first off, MJ, I'll
Yep.
let you introduce yourself a little. How long have you been like in the laser world? And let's not assume
Woo.
everyone knows you. So
So I have been in the laser world for, I think I'm going on 6 years now, right? 6 years, 5 years, somewhere around there.
out there, yeah, five
Yeah,
six
time
years we're
flies when
we're
you're having
old.
fun, right? Yeah,
Is
I
that what we call
started.
this?
Yeah, is it? Some days. Um, yeah, I started as a lot of other makers did with a glow forge. Had that baby for quite some time. Had some other babies from there because I had a couple of breakdowns. But on my glow forge is where I actually learned to recreate photos and edit photos for laser engraving. Believe it or not, still the Glowforge is the superior machine to do photo engraves. I know a lot of you probably don't want to hear that, but in my opinion, it really is. That's why I held on to mine for so long. But moving along to a higher wattage machine, I have a Mira 900 watt, and I was a little scared, thinking that with a machine that powerful, I wouldn't be able to get the details that I did with the Glowforge, but I worked it out. So same quality on that. And now with the X Tool F1 that I have, I've been doing photos on that as well. So I think I kind of got a good amount of information to give everybody for the conference.
Nice. And
Yep.
I know you taught this same class. It was probably one of our most popular classes
Yeah.
in Dallas 2 years ago, correct?
Yes. Yes, I
Yeah.
did.
So
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, I think a lot of the attendees got a lot out of it. And then with the class, I'm going to go through all of the steps for editing, how to bring it into your interface, whether it's XES or Glowforge or Lightburn. So I'll give you all the steps that you need to take up until you press start and let it go. Um, and also, all attendees, which I've done in the past, will get my PowerPoint presentation so that they can keep it on hand because I know the conference is, there's a lot of information, um, you know, in that 3 days. So uh, there's a possibility that you might forget it, but fear not because you will get our presentation.
So for people coming to your class, is this for people who have never done this before? They just walk in and you'll teach them from step one, or is this a little bit more intermediate?
Absolutely, absolutely. In my time in the groups and in the laser world, I found that a lot of makers are kind of afraid to take that next step in that photo editing process, just because it's such a detailed project. But I promise you that it's easier than you think it is. You might even be mad at me at the end of the class, just because it is that easy. Um, but yeah, if you've never edited a photo before, or if you've done it and you're having problems dialing in your settings or with the editing process, uh, all are welcome.
I know when you started, you were doing signs and you're doing a lot of the same things that a lot of us makers make with our
Yep.
laser. What made you gravitate towards doing photos, and how has that opened you up to new markets and also getting a higher end clientele and higher priced items for yourself?
It really has, because as much as the photo editing process and those projects have blown up, it's still kind of a niche market. Um, so going into the groups, I was like, what's the most popular file? I'm gonna chasing the most popular file, right? But then I found for my business, that really wasn't for me. It might work for other makers, but for my business, it didn't. And I really wanted to get into the more artsy side of things. Um, so I saw a few posts of photo edits and I was like, wow, this is beautiful. How do you do this? And I was just as confused as everyone else when I started. But like talking to other makers and kind of just sitting in front of my computer and just going through the motions and seeing what worked, trying to dial in my settings, doing tests. I've wasted lots and lots of wood trying to test settings and edits. Um, it was just something I really felt like I needed to do. And when you have a project that where you can memorialize a photo or a moment or something that means something to someone, you then have a higher price range that you can charge people, right? Because you can't just go onto Amazon and find submit a photo and get and get an engraved portrait. So that's something that I definitely wanted to get into. I also, what I do for one of my day jobs is I help run a artist community here in New Jersey. And so that was something that was interesting, because a lot of the members would tell me that, hey, you should take pictures of like historical buildings and, just like nature and things like that, and you can sell them. And I said, oh, like, okay, I'm not a photographer, but we can figure that out. I literally use my iPhone, take a photo of something. If you take a photo of something, you own that photo. You then engrave it. You can even add some color to it or a nice frame. And you could put that on a wall of a gallery and charge hundreds of dollars for it because it's unique. So, now you have a different audience. You know what I mean? You can work with other like historical societies, county entities, things like that to recreate pieces. You can gain commissions from people, and now you put yourself in kind of like a higher level of artistry. So there's a lot of opportunity with the photo edits.
I think one thing you mentioned too, when you talk about historical buildings or things,
Hmm.
for some who do craft shows, even if we simplify it down, there is the opportunity of art galleries and art pieces, but we hear a lot of people who do local craft shows and they're like, I don't know what to bring, I don't know what my local market would want. If you're
Yeah,
engraving things that are local to where you are, they don't have to be
absolutely.
personalized, right? Because
100%.
that's a lot of us, oh, I don't know, what everything I make is personalized. If I don't have a laser on site or I'm not just taking orders, I really can't do anything that's personalized on
Yep.
site. So now you can kind of do personalized because it's local to your area. If you're doing craft shows and you have monuments or landmarks in your
Yep.
area, people love stuff like that. I mean,
That's one of the
I'm
that's
from San Francisco, and I wear a I love San Francisco T-shirt, which is kind of weird, but I still do.
so that's actually one of the things that allowed me to gain traction with the photo edits. So I slowed down a little bit, but I used to do craft shows every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, every weekend, back to back. And I live in New Jersey. I live down the shore. So we have a lot of beautiful beaches. Um, and people were looking for things related to the areas that they were living or that they were visiting. So I would take photos of some of the more popular beaches and towns in my area, engrave them, frame them, throw them up, sell them for 150 bucks for maybe like a, 11 by 14. And they would go like hotcakes because people want that. You have to think like upscale gift shop. If you're going someplace or you're visiting someplace and you want sort of like a memento of that area, you can provide items like that. And they don't have to be just frames. They can be ornaments. They can be keychains. Now that we're in the metal engraving world, where everyone's doing photos on necklaces or things like that. So, there's really a lot of options there.
What are like, besides the local things, what are some of your favorite things to engrave? Like, are you preferring pet photos right now or photos of people?
So I really like right now what I'm into is photos of like nature, right? I had this one client who it's a little bit of a sad story, but in the photo engraving world, you'll learn that you're going to do a lot of memorial pieces if that's what you're getting into. But he had a friend who passed away, and they had a Viking funeral for him, which is you kind of put some pieces of wood into the water and set it on fire. I know it sounds weird, but it's a thing. And just the photo that he took, it had a lot of trees, greenery. It had the flames. It was just a gorgeous photo. So I engraved it, and I decided to add some color to it. And it was one of my favorite pieces. And then from there, I kind of got into doing a lot of birds, a lot of animals, a lot of nature themed, just because the colors are just absolutely beautiful. And if we will touch on adding color to your engravings, and please don't laugh at me, but I started with and I continue to use Crayola colored pencils. It's the best thing.
That was going to be my next question, if you were using resin or what, but colored pencils, I love it.
Colored pencils. My kids had like thousands of colored pencils, and I said, all right, well, I'm not going to buy new supplies for this. Let's see what works. So I began to use the colored pencils, and they worked. And if it's not broke, don't fix it. So
you have to seal it after using those?
So I'd never do seal it. Never do seal it. And what you want to do, and I'll go more in depth on this in the class, but what you want to do is you want to kind of use the natural grooves in your engrave to highlight where you want color. So you're very lightly using your pencil. I mean, you can use pastel as well, but the colored pencil is a little bit more forgiving. And you just kind of want to go with the natural grooves of your engrave. But I might have a really cool piece to show everyone that's colored. And if you want to bring some colored pencils, we can color after the class.
Perfect. Got a question here from Kurt. Are you mainly engraving on wood? And if you are, what is your favorite type of wood to engrave on?
So a lot of the things that I do are on wood. Like I mentioned earlier, now that we're in the like F1 era and, metal, we're doing a lot of metal engraving now. I've gotten into that as well. But yes, wood is my favorite. It allows me to add color. And the wood that I use the most is maple. And what you want to do is most maples, I get most of it from Smoky Hill, and I do get a lot of it from Home Depot. It's the Columbia Forest brand. You'll see that one side is a little bit lighter than the other. I use the lighter side. engrave on that, and it takes the color just beautifully.
Nice. Now, speaking of, I know you do most of your engravings on wood.
Mhm.
Um, Now, is there a different process when you're engraving on different substrates, say acrylic or slate? And how hard is it to take one picture and edit it to fit different materials?
100%. So when you're using a lighter wood, and that's what I recommend. The darker the wood, the less detail you're going to see on the engrave. So I don't usually do a lot of dark woods, no walnut or anything like that. But when you're doing, let's say, like a black acrylic, you're inverting your image. So there's a different process there. I love the way that black aluminum engraves. So you're inverting your image there. So, yeah, there's a little bit of a different process, but as a whole, the editing is kind of the same. You're messing a little bit with the grayscale. You're adding sort of like a newsprint filter to it because it helps you're essentially with the editing process, what you're doing is you're converting to dots before you do it in your whatever interface you're using. So so yeah, there's a few things that you need to change depending on what material you're using, but for the most part, the editing process is kind of the same.
Mm. And Victor there, he said that he loves using crayons and then heating them with a heat gun too. Do you use crayons as well?
No, I want to use crayons
I
though.
know that sounds fantastic.
Victor, can we
Victor, you're
use
gonna have to show
crayons
us.
together? Yeah, I want to do that.
We have a lot of crayons, broken crayons all over the place. So if I can repurpose them in some way, that'll be great.
Absolutely. Save a little
No,
money.
I would love that. I have used, like I said, I mean, the colored pencils are my most favorite because they're forgiving. You know, if you go a little
Mhm.
heavy in some spots, you can kind of sand it off or wipe it off. Pastels tend to kind of add a lot more color to it, and you can make some mistakes there just because it's a softer kind of material. I also use a little bit of watercolor sometimes, but you have to be careful with that because adding water to wood can warp it. So you have to be very, very delicate with that.
Mm.
But yeah, like I said, if you stick with colored pencils, you're good to go.
Nice. So for those who are coming to your class, what
Mhm.
program do you use to edit your photos, and what are some things that they should they be bringing a laptop to follow along? I
Yeah,
know
I mean,
we're going to record it so they can watch it
mhm.
later, but what would you suggest them bringing to your class?
So you can totally bring your laptop if you want to follow along. It may take some time to download the program and things like that, but if you want to do it beforehand, what I use GIMP. Um, and I can post the version in our group that I use. The newer version is not um, doesn't really have the same editing tools that I'm comfortable with. So I use GIMP. It's a free photo editing software. And the reason why I got into that is because I didn't want to make an investment into a software without knowing if I was going to be comfortable using it or if it was going to actually work. So again, going back to if it's not broke, don't fix it. GIMP is free. It works for me, and it's been great. You can use your laptop if you want to. Just downloading the program and kind of following along if you're comfortable with that. But again, the PowerPoint presentation is going to be sent to everyone. It'll be recorded, so you can kind of follow along. And if you want to write notes, that's fine too. Yeah.
Cool. And I know we're putting together an email for all attendees here shortly,
Mhm.
hopefully this week, where we're going to give you a breakdown of what you might need to, which programs you need to download for which classes, just so that you guys come prepared. So expect that email here. Hey, we suggest you bring something to take notes on,
Yep.
even though I hear we're having notebooks provided by the conference and
Ooh,
some of our
are we?
sponsors. Oh, yes. Yeah. And badges galore.
Beautiful,
Um,
beautiful badges.
yeah, you guys better cherish these badges, or we're just going to do the "Hello, my name is" stickers moving forward. Because
Hey, I like those too.
Yeah, we always have these little superhero ones that we write our names in. Anytime Mark
Mhm.
and I do an event, we always have those stickers on. But yeah, we got some cool swag coming for everyone, and we'll have everything you guys need for the classes. And like MJ said, all the classes will be recorded.
Yep.
Everyone who has a ticket will get all the recordings, so you're not missing anything. Or if you missed a part, or you decided, hey, I have this class that I want to see and I can't get to this one, or I'm just tired, or I want to go hang out with some friends that who I haven't seen,
Right.
go to the pool, get the recording and watch it later. We want you to
Mhm.
do what works best for you.
Yep.
So,
Mhm.
Yep.
let's see what else you got there. Tabitha, do you do a lot of photo engraving? Have you dabbled into
None
that?
at all. I've tried it
Not
a
at all.
couple times. MJ was so kind to walk me through it one time, and the dog looked like a ghost, and I said, "No, I'm done." It's
There
just
you
not
go.
going to be my thing. I'm not going to really put a photo on a hat, but she's actually changed my mind on how I viewed it. I always said, no, I will not engrave somebody's photo onto a cutting board because it's going to take me so long to edit it, so long to engrave it back when I had the Glowforge.
Mhm.
And it's going to end up just looking like it was printed in sepia, and it has no dimension. Why would I want to do that? That was my view. And then I saw MJ's work. I'm like, oh, it can be art.
Yeah. Yeah. It
So,
totally can. And I'm glad you mentioned the dog.
yes.
Because I know that we all are very eager to put photos on just everything, anything,
Mhm.
everything. I'm gonna tell you right now, there are some things that a photo will just not look good on. If you have an orange tumbler that you're looking to put a photo on, I don't recommend it. Maybe a black one, possibly. But there are just some things that will not take a photo engrave well, and it's okay to tell your client no.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Or anything you would engrave my photo on, it's not coming out well. So just don't. Uh,
That sounds like a
Got a
challenge. You
question
should put his photo on everything now.
on everything.
Everything.
It's almost like when I first got my laser,
Hmm.
I was
Yes.
engraving my logo, or when I got my new logo, I just engraved my logo on everything. And then I
Mhm.
got the F1 and I just engraved on everything. I like removed the bottom. I was holding it up to the wall, engraving walls. Uh, what's bad is I have a couple desks that I don't use anymore and I want to sell them, but I engraved my logo on them. So people are like, why do I'm not going to put Crazy Laser Dad in my living room when they're not
Only
in the
our
laser
community.
community. Only so if you guys are looking for furniture with the Crazy Laser Dad logo on it, reach out. I have a bunch of it. I've
Limited
engraved everything.
edition.
Yeah. Limited edition. There
Floor
you go.
tiles, everything but my hand. I'm still tempted, but I
Wow.
haven't.
My husband engraved his hand.
Next level on the knuckles. That would be good.
You should.
We
You
got a
should do.
question from Mikey though. Have you come across photos that just can't be engraved for whatever reason? I know we were talking about
Yes.
that before
Yes,
we
I
went
have.
live.
Yes, I have. So I know, and again, going back to, I know we all want to get that sale, right? And we work with clients, and our clients don't know what they need to provide in order to get a photo engraved well. But some tips that I usually tell people is get multiple photos from your client, right? Get about 4 or 5 of them and just say, hey, I need a couple. Not everything can be engraved well, depending on the photo. I get a lot of like beach photos. Recently, I had a family photo where they were at the beach. Sand is a light color. The sky was a light color. They're all wearing white. 2 of the people were bald, light skinned. It just doesn't, when you convert it, you can only darken it so much. So photos with lines that are not clearly defined, I kind of stay away from. Um, Only because it kind of blends into each other and you can't see faces, you can't see bodies. So if you have a lot of white or light colors in a photo, I might stay away from those. Um, what else? Photos of photos are not so great. Photos of photos, then a screenshot of that is also not great. Is also not great. I know that there's some situations where you just don't have that digital photo. And if it's like a really good photo of a photo, you can probably do something with it. But if it's creased and ripped, or there's like a hand missing, you can't magically add things to the pictures like people think you can. And crease marks and rips and things like that, you really can't remove from a photo. Screenshots of thumbnail photos are not going to work because you can only make it so large. Unless you want to engrave something this big, it probably won't work. So I would say like clearly defined lines, high res if you can, but phone photos also work. But yeah, I've definitely had to say no to some people, unfortunately.
Yep, like Victor said, nothing worse than getting a low res light photo and they want to blow it up. And it's true with
Mhm.
anything, right? If it comes to photos, if it comes to engraving a company's logo,
Mhm.
any of the, if you give me something, and I don't mean to use the term because I know pictures can be very sentimental at times, but
Yeah.
garbage in, garbage out,
Mhm.
right? If it's
Mhm.
we're not miracle workers. We can do our best to try to get it as close to possible, but it's almost impossible when, like you said, it's a screenshot of a screenshot, and you expect it to be 4K quality when done is really tough. So,
Yeah, not
um,
happen.
you know, yeah, setting expectations to your customers, hey, I need a higher res photo. This is what you have. I understand but this is the result that's going to come with it, and be upfront with your customers that
Mhm.
it's not going to be exactly what you expect, and
Yeah.
as long as they know that ahead of time, that's all you can really do.
Yeah, and most clients would appreciate that you're looking to do a good job and that you want to deliver the best possible product to them. So, I mean, unfortunately, I mean, I've had people ask me to edit photos, and I'm like, I just can't. I just can't. It would be easier to just recreate it in in AI or something. Um, but yeah, I mean, unfortunately, there's just some photos that just can't be done.
But yeah, it does open you up to, people want to memorialize things, or they want to remember something. They want to have a great vacation photo, and they want something
Mhm.
unique on their wall, right? Other
Yep,
than just a photo. So
absolutely.
being able to put it on wood, it's just something really magical about that. And it's different that people don't see every day. And if we're
Right.
as makers trying to look for something that sets us apart,
Mhm.
here's an opportunity to create products personalized that sets us apart from everyone else.
100%.
Let's see. Victor had a comment here. Limitations are only relevant to the people that know the work it takes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's educating your customer and
Mhm.
being upfront and straightforward with them. Like, yes, no, I can't engrave that. Or when we talk to Tabitha here in a couple minutes, no, I
Mhm.
can't put that on a hat.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you get it. Or they'll send you a logo that's like half of a logo that they
Mhm.
peeled off of you know, a box. Like, oh yeah, now I want this to be perfect. Roy says, "Man, I'm hoping to catch this class." And how
Oh, we'd
many
love to have
times?
you, Roy.
Remind me again. How many times are you teaching the class? Is it two?
Twice. Yep.
Twice. So you'll have two opportunities to catch
Mhm.
MJ at the conference teaching the class. As with all of our classes, are all taught a minimum of 2 times. Some classes are taught 3 times, and we've kind of moved them around the schedule so that you have opportunities to. It's not always MJ's class competing with this one class each time, so you'll be able to catch it. And if you do catch it, great. If you don't, the catch MJ in the hallway, ask her a
Oh, yeah.
question, and you'll also have the opportunity to catch all the recordings. She's going to share
Mhm.
all of her slide deck as well. So you're not missing anything.
No, not at
Definitely
all. And
for
I'm always even post event, I'm always lurking in the
Mm.
groups. I don't post a lot, but I'm always in there watching, and my inbox is always open for anybody that needs any help. If you have any questions after the conference.
Let's see. Shirley says maybe someday I can go to a conference. Definitely, we'd love to have you. These will be happening every year. So
Mhm.
2026, that
Yep.
announcement for 2026 will be coming here hopefully pretty soon. sooner than you guys think. So we'll get you guys all ready for that. Let's see. This one, Danny, I think this is something we were talking about too, was looking forward to this class until it died. My Glowforge was excellent with photo engraving. I now have a Mira 7 and actually cut my first project with it last week. Looking forward to streamlining my learning curve with the Mira 7.
Yep. Let's do it, Danny.
Yep. It is a transition. I still have 2 Glowforges here at the warehouse, and I use them for specific things, and photo engraving is one of them.
I held on to that baby for as long as I could. And I held on to it until I was able to master the photos on my Mira. So, it is on to bigger and better.
Yes. Now, do you notice a huge speed difference, or do you have to slow down even your Mira or some of these bigger lasers so slow that it's pretty much the same speed as the Glowforge?
So I'll tell you, on my Mira 900 watt, my speed is 280, which is really not that bad for photo engraves. So historically on my Glowforge, if I wanted an 11 by 14, or I should say 10.5 by 14, right? That's all we can go.
Glowforge do you have?
10.25. It would take 4.5 hours to do that. I haven't done anything on my Mira that was more than an hour and a half. I do want to. My goal is to do a full bed engrave on my Mira. So let's see.
Yeah, come to Sacramento. We'll test it out. I have the Nova 16, so you can do a 63 by 40.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah. I don't know what I would want ever hanging in my warehouse that's 63 by 40, though.
It's going to be your face, Will.
I feel like a skyline would be cool for that, or like a family photo. That might be good.
The Gaylord from above.
There you go. Ooh.
And then Mark. I want a life-size engraving of Mark on my wall. Just whatever.
Don't
60 inches. 60 inches of Mark is probably up to his chest. I'm guessing, depending on his height. For me, it's like here to the ground.
That's a headshot for Mark.
Yeah, that's Mark's headshot. So Shirley says, come to Wisconsin. There are never any conferences in Wisconsin.
Ooh.
I haven't been to Wisconsin. I hear it's beautiful up there. We'll definitely, we look for our conferences to be the big one, to be in a central location that's very easy for everyone around the country to get into. But Mark and I have talked for years about trying to get out to more parts of the country for even smaller events. If it's 6 events throughout the year in all demographics, and then one big event that pulls everyone together. So we definitely want to get up that way.
Yep.
I will be in Detroit in September. It's kind of close. In my head, Detroit, Wisconsin, Chicago, all that, they're all within like driving distance. I'm completely wrong in that, but that's the West Coast California bias. Like it's California, then one state, and then the East Coast. That's kind of what
essentially
the world is to me.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah. Kurt says, please not Chicago. No, as a Lions fan, the only time I'd go to Chicago is to watch the Lions beat the Bears. And if any Bears fans are here, I apologize. Not really. So, right, MJ, again, thank you so much. You're sticking around. We're going to switch it up. But MJ is one of the teachers at Next Level Laser Conference. She's also part of the Next Level Laser team, as is Tabitha. So they've been instrumental in getting this conference up and running and all the things that come with it. So thank you. We look forward to your photo editing class. I'm actually going to switch you and Tabitha. This is kind of funny.
There we go.
There you go. Now we're going to switch roles. We're going to interview Tabitha. Tabitha is one of our amazing teachers at Next Level as well. And Tabitha, you are teaching. What is your class about?
Making profit with hats.
Nice. I like the word profit. So anything with that. And hats are definitely profitable. So, let's not assume, again, just like we did with MJ, that not everyone knows you or a little bit of just your laser journey. If you want to share a little bit about that, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I started with the Glowforge as well. 7-8 years ago, can't keep track at this point. Yeah, man, it's been a while. I think it was about 5 years ago. I decided to make a hat for my husband, and I will not share that picture here, but I will share it in the in the actual class because I want everyone to see we all start somewhere, and I was so proud of it. And my husband is a high detail person and very honest. And here I was thinking I did something really amazing for him. It was just a trial. I thought, okay, compliment sandwich would be in there. No, it's who would wear that? And that's where I started. Okay. But after a few tears, I went back and did better. And he said, okay, you're getting there. And then I went back and I did it right. So I'd like to help people not start from where I started, give them a little leg up to to have a better start. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice work. Yeah, it's exciting we see the amount of people who are now gravitating towards hats. It's just become a big thing. For you, what other than making it for your husband, what made you want to get into hats, and what was your strategy on who you were trying to gain as a customer with the hats?
So my husband was definitely my target market in that. Him and his workout friends, they all love to don their logo on everything. So I figured I'd make a couple for him and his friends and maybe make a little bit of money off of it while I was learning. And that just blew up so fast that it became not just a local region that I was doing these hats for, but it became national. So this particular workout group has workout locations all over the US. And now I'm doing about 3,000 hats a year for this group. And then locally, I also am a vendor for our FBI office. So I do their hats as well. Yeah, that's mostly what I'm doing. I do the soccer clubs locally, the schools. But mostly my focus is to stay as close to home as possible. But, of course, I'm willing to ship anywhere.
Tabitha, I know you do a lot. I'm glad you mentioned the schools and the soccer teams. I know you do a lot with fundraising. Are you going to be talking about how to get into sports teams and schools and things like that at the conference?
Yes. Yeah, I'm kind of going to just touch on everything that I do. We probably won't go into all of the ins and outs of fundraising, just kind of high level overview. I made my outline for the class and I realized that 90 minutes is not going to be enough. So, Will, I'm just going to need some more time. Okay. We're just going to need to adjust the schedule.
We're adding another day.
Yeah. 3 classes will not be enough. Okay. We need 4. No, I definitely want to start by talking about just the basics of hat decorating, making sure you have placement right, the different types of hats and materials that you can use, and then jump into the profit side of it. Because I see so many people selling hats for, I don't know, $13, $14. And I'm just looking and going, why? Why are you putting all that work going back and forth with a customer, cleaning up their logo to sell one hat at that price? You're losing money, essentially. You got to pay yourself as well. And even with wholesale, there's so much profit to be made. And that's what I really want people to see.
Awesome.
And how much percentage would you say is your hat sales to actual business to business versus individuals?
I would say probably 80%. Yeah. Mostly that workout group. But the one-on-one, I don't do too much of that. Happy to do it. I just don't have much of a market for that.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think we all realize too, as the economy's tough or as people are cutting back on certain things, businesses are still spending, right? Businesses are using it as giveaways, as marketing, as all the things that these businesses want. And if there was a way to transition our business and look at different avenues to generate revenue for our businesses, business to business is a great one. And they all seem to love hats. Everyone wants a hat
Absolutely.
with their logo on it.
Yeah.
It's just something about it. Like tumblers, yes, there's money in tumblers too, but I would never be caught, honestly, carrying a 40-ounce Stanley. I would never carry a tumbler with a handle. Not me. But hat, everyone wears a hat, so
Totally.
Yeah. I just use Starbucks cups. That's it. Like 6 a day.
I said I'd never use a 40-ounce tumbler with a handle, but I have one and it has chickens on it. So never say never. Well,
I guess it depends on what the design is. We'll have a contest on what someone bring me a 40-ounce tumbler where I'm like, that's the tumbler. That's a tumbler. So
Yeah, you're going to put 40 of them
let's
now.
Tabitha, in your
let's see.
experience with hats and being the hat queen, what would you say is the most popular type of hat that's going out right now, that's hot right now?
Okay, so
It's funny,
Richardson
we have a question
112
here too, of
hats.
course, same thing.
Yeah.
Richardson. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the
Richardson
one that I
112
hear
for
the
sure.
most.
Well, and part of it is okay, there are other brands that have very similar shapes and very similar looks. But when people are looking for a certain fit, like let's say that a guy has a big head and hats never fit. Well, once they find that brand that they like, they just stick with it. They know that that hat is going to retain its color, it's going to retain its shape. So Richardson is really the go-to, and the 112 specifically, that's the one with the line down the middle. That's really just industry standard. The next thing for people who already have all those hats and are looking for something a little bit classier is this is the Zapped hat, Zapped headwear. But these performance hats, because they're water repellent, so people are actually not getting the sweat lines through it. They're a little bit lighter weight, a little bit more comfortable because it's the soft material on the back instead of like the firm mesh. So those two hats, but the performance are trending more right now.
Cool.
Awesome.
And as far as the material you tend to use the most for your hat patches, what are some of your favorite materials that you use and that you'll be talking about in your class?
So at this point, I only do leatherette. I will have a couple of people ask for real leather. I don't like the smell when it's engraving, just that burnt flesh smell. It really gets me nauseated. So if somebody's very insistent, I will do it. Typically, those are not huge orders because I'm going to charge a lot more because I don't like it. So I try to deter it. And I've actually found some leatherette that looks like top grain leather. And most people, if I don't say anything to them, they would not notice the difference. So I can get that leatherette without having the smell of the real leather. But yeah, mostly leatherette's what I do.
Awesome. Do you find, looking at the hat that you're wearing now, do you find that people are taking to that kind of style, sort of like their logo with an offset and cut out, or are they loving the standard, shaped patches?
Well, mostly what I do is going to be the offset because I just have a lot more variety of colors that I can do. I know, Will you still have the patches on your site?
Yes.
Yeah. So like the standard shapes, those are really nice because there's not a lot of editing that you have to worry about doing. And a lot of people want that stitched edge look. And if you're not going to actually take the time to stitch it, then those are much better options. But for mostly what I'm doing is just the sheets of leatherette where I can do the offset.
I have to say I don't know how long ago it was, but I had chatted with Tabitha and I said, what am I putting on this patch? I mean, I need to make a hat so that I can wear to vendor events. And I did what she said. And I have put this hat in the washer and dryer hundreds of times. And that patch is still holding on for dear life. I got to tell you, I mean, the hat is almost, not wearable, but the patch, not going anywhere.
Patch
So
ain't going
listen
anywhere.
to Tabitha because it works.
Which
Okay.
leads us right into the question from Shirley is, what do you
Yeah.
use to adhere your patches?
Okay, so a number of different options. So when you buy the pre-made patches with the stitch lines on there, most of them come with adhesive. Some of them are sticky, some of them are not, but you'll use a heat press to attach them. And as long as you get your pressure right and your heat settings right, then those will stick on pretty well. Then what I used to use was heat and bond. So I would buy a sheet of leatherette and I would get the red label heat and bond and I would put it on the back of the leatherette and then throw it into the laser and then heat press the patch onto that. Now what I'm using, just because of the sheer volume, I don't have time to sit there and hold the heat and bond in place and fuss with it so much. So I use the hat patch adhesive, which is a 3M product. It's a very specific 3M though, from GS2 Awards, and I just buy it by the roll. This is the same adhesive that they use to put the fabric liners, the headliners inside of cars. So it can withstand heat for a long time. And these are the ones that I could toss them in the washer, or actually we recommend to be more gentle for the hat, to put the hats in the top rack of the dishwasher to clean them. But yeah, they're holding up really well.
Awesome.
Oh, nice. So, yeah, so look, good tip right there. If you take anything, wash your hats in the dishwasher.
I'm gonna try
Backing
that.
it up. Wash your hats occasionally, please.
Yes.
My dishwasher, grew up with dishwashers in our home, which was me. But our dishwasher is actually the Tupperware holder / drying rack. When I was growing up, we never run the dishwasher. It was just there to use as a drying rack. So,
Storage.
and if you use your dishwasher to actually wash things, just wash your hat in there. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
So the adhesive that you're talking about that you use now primarily, do we have to have a heat press for that, or is it heat activated, or how do you apply your patches?
So with the one I'm using now, it's just a pressure sensitive one. And I love that because you can actually take it to vendor events. You can have your hat bar and not need to bring a bulky heat press. When I've done events, I don't do them during the rainy season. So being inside of a tent with a heat press on, it gets very, very warm in there. And then I'm always worried about, like, if I don't have the walls up, I'm worried about a customer walking by and touching it and burning themselves. So I prefer not to bring my heat press to events anymore. So for this application, it's just pressure sensitive. So sometimes I'll bring the press, just not turn it on just for public view. Then I can actually line it up, put the hat on the press, line it up, the patch, and then just press it down just for pressure, but no heat.
Nice. That's what I use my flat press for when I adhere 3M to acrylic or wood. I just put it on, and if I need pressure, I just press it in my flat press without heat. And that's so pressure sensitive. Makes it really easy because I know a lot of people who, like you said, power the amount of drain. If you're using, say, a Jackery at a show and you have a F1 Ultra going and you have the heat press pulls so much power.
It does.
Yeah.
So now if you can have it out there and just use it to press, that'd be kind of cool.
And to get like a good heat press, I mean, the Hotronics IQ 360, I mean, they're $1,800 heat presses and they are worth every penny. But that's a lot of money to see if you even have the market for it, So starting with, $100 bever, that's totally fine if you're not worried about, creasing from the heat and everything else. Then you just doing pressure. Why not?
Yeah, because that was going to be my next question is some of the cheaper ones, since you're not dealing with the insensitivity of the heat, the pressure itself on these cheaper ones work just fine consistently wise? Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hold on one second. I'm giving myself a headache here as my light wants to.
I still have.
Why have a disco back here?
I think 5 or 6 years ago, I bought a heat press off Amazon. It was a Vivor one. It was like the 5-in-1 because I'm like, I'm going to do all these things. I still have the same press. And it works great. Works great.
So the reason
I have a Hotronics 360 IQ. The only reason I bought it was when they had a sale. I think it was last year about this time. I wonder if they'll have it again. It was if you bought the press from, was it Heat Press Nation? Maybe you got an equivalent amount in transfers. So it was like $1,800 worth of transfers, and then the heat press was $1,850. So I thought, okay, well, if I use all my transfers, it's a free press. You got to remember to order transfers before that expires, or you just bought an $1,800 press and no transfers. So that's where I'm at. Shirley asked, and I think you mentioned this, where do you buy your adhesive? Is it GS2?
It is. Yes, she has 2
Okay.
awards. And they may or may not be working a deal for the conference, so definitely attend the class to find that out.
Hmm?
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
And you are teaching your class how many times, Tabitha?
3.
3. Okay. And
Yes.
part of the reason, and we talked to MJ earlier, and it's 2, a lot of it also had to depend on the classroom size.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
MJ's class, some of the other design program classes are bigger classrooms, so we can fit more. So that 2 times would be adequate to pretty much fit everyone. Some of the smaller classrooms we had to do 3 times to ensure that everyone had an opportunity to go
Yep.
to the class if they wanted to. So, and again, all
Mhm.
recorded, all the resources will be shared to all ticket holders afterwards as
Mhm.
well. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. I definitely see more and more people getting into the hat game if it's hat bars at events.
Mhm.
Um, when have you done hat bars at events? And when you do you tend to have do you let people just pick a design, or do you have preset designs, or how do you manage that with customers?
So I've gotten too busy recently to do them. So I have not done hat bars since I've had my F1. Um, so I have to always take a guess at what is going to sell and make a bunch of patches. And like we were talking about with MJ, what tends to sell is what's current to the location. So anything I put that city name on, or anything that city is about, those are the things that tend to sell. Know who you're trying to sell to, and then figure out what you think that they would be looking for. If you're in a really I don't know, if you're in a really conservative area, maybe like, gun toting stuff like might be more popular, or maybe, if you're in a really Christian area, like looking for verses and things like that to put on there. um but yeah, just realize who your market is first. Find out from whoever's in charge of that event, who's coming to it, how many people to expect, because you want to think, if it's a lot of women, then maybe you want to have some more pink hats in there, or something more feminine, some florals to put on the hats. But yeah, I've always had to just take guesses and make a ton of patches, which realistically on my Mira 7 patches take about 2 minutes. It's really not a lot of time, so I can use them in my consignments later. So there's not a lot of waste there. Yeah.
Tabitha, do you think when you're at vendor events and you're doing, say you're doing a hat bar, do you think it's beneficial to have kind of like a blank order form or some sort of contact information that you can give out or retain, so that you can potentially get those B2B orders?
Always. Yes. So if it's a business that's requesting information,
Mhm.
odds are that even if they take your card, and even if you've got a QR code on it to make it fast for them, they're going to lose the card. They're going to get sidetracked. But if you take their card, then you can reach out to them later. Sometimes they don't have a card on them, but always have some sort of order form, just some way of you being able to contact them later, and have a little note on there, even if it's a note you write, what they're looking for, how many they're looking for, what their turnaround time
Mhm.
is. Something that I don't think we've discussed yet, but political events.
Mhm.
We've had a lot of different political figures looking to get hats just to advertise. And that they've actually come up to me at events, and I've gotten quite a few hat orders off of that. But just saying, so and so running for Congress.
Smart.
Yeah.
So as someone ordering hat, let's just say I have a logo that's almost pretty much ready to go, and I
Mhm.
send it to you and I say, hey, I would love this on a hat. What is your How long would it typically take you from when it comes to loading it into your software, cutting the patch or engraving it as well, and adhering it to the hat? What's an average time that it would take you to do a hat?
I mean, if the logo is, the right file type, which it almost never is, but let's say that it was, just toss it in the light burn and engrave it. Total time on a hat should be I don't know, 15 minutes maybe.
And then if you're doing multiple, that just brings down the time for how
Mm-hmm.
many,
Yeah.
and I think that's another key thing when we talk about hats and we talk about when you're talking about profit is if you want to scale your business and you want to have items that you can do bulk of, you need to have items that are actually scalable
Yep.
and that makes
Yes.
sense to your time. And with hats, a business, they're not asking for, you're not going back and forth with them on, oh, what name would you like on this? Or, well, how would you like that personalized? What font would you like?
Hmm.
They're like, here's my logo. I need 75 of these hats. You put them in, you engrave them, you press, and you're going. I mean, when you did, was it 250 hats for Next Level a couple years ago?
That
You were
sounds
able
about
to
right.
knock out, I think, 250 hats in like, what, a couple days?
Oh, I would say because they were the sticky adhesive, I think it took me 4
Oh,
hours to
yeah,
do
that takes a little
everything.
longer.
See?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and
So
we almost
hats
lost
are
those hats. I
extremely
mean, it's funny, it's
profitable.
full circle with the 3 of us. I think
Yeah.
weren't we panicking, MJ, like, where the hats went?
Mhm. Yeah, they were under the
And they
table.
were under the table. Yeah,
Yeah,
we were like, "Where's all the hats?" I
under the
remember
table for
250 hats. I sent it to
safekeeping,
Tabitha.
and then we couldn't find them.
Well, just
Oh,
recently
that's
with the new adhesive I'm using, and I say new, I've been using it for like a year now. And I've got two heat presses, so I can press them a lot faster. Now I'm only using heat on my bulk orders because I don't have to sit there and make sure that every point and every corner is, pressed down with my fingers. So it's actually a lot faster just to throw them on there for 30 seconds. And then I know that heat or that adhesive is really melted into the hat and that there's no way it's going to pop off or loosen up in transit. So with the two presses, I did 200 hats recently, and it took me 2.5 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. So there is a lot of profit when you're
Yep.
doing the bulk orders. It's rinse and repeat.
yep.
The going back and forth is just setting up the initial order, getting that initial um, image to them just to make sure they approve of what they're going to get, and then you just work.
Mikey asked, "Do you offer one-offs or do you usually have a minimum?"
I definitely offer one-offs. They're going to pay that higher amount. When you look at my pricing scale on my website, really what I'm looking for profit wise is those bulk orders. I want to make a minimum of $10 to $15 per hat, and that's even on the bulk orders. I'm going to make that. But the one-offs are the ones that tend to go back and forth a lot more. Usually, a business is not going to send me just a single hat order. So whatever logo they send me is something that I'm going to have to clean up a little bit more. There's a little bit more time invested in that. So they're going to pay for my time on that.
Well, I heard $10, $15 profit per hat, and then I look at all these people who are posting hats for $10 to $15
$10,
find
$15.
price.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, wait, you guys there's opportunities there. So it's good that you're
Yeah.
pointing out that people will pay these, right? These businesses, they're not penny pinching. They're looking
They're
for
not.
a high quality product given
Yep.
to them in their timeline. And if you can provide
Absolutely.
that, they're going to spend the money. And if you create a
Yeah.
really good hat at $10, I'll just buy them
Mhm.
from you and then sell them to another company for
Of
28,
course.
and I'll
Exactly.
do
Well, I mean,
zero
might not
work.
be the quality. Well, and if a company is hesitant because of your pricing, then I say, hey, can I send you a hat? Can I just send you one sample? You send me your logo, let me make you one, and you can check out the quality for yourself.
Yep.
Anytime I do that, I'm going to get that order.
Yeah, once they get it in their hands, and I think, like you said, they don't cost a ton to, and it doesn't take a ton of time to create samples and get it in people's hands because a picture is, a picture. But once they put it on, they feel how comfortable it looks. They see their
Yeah.
actual logo, something, they're like,
Yes.
I want that.
Yeah.
Can you use hat patches on stocking type hats, or is it just for ball cap?
Absolutely. Yep. So I actually will use with this adhesive, since it's just pressure sensitive, I can do these on beanies and I can do them on like the Christmas stockings. without having to add heat and melting the acrylic material underneath.
Nice. I saw that was a big thing during the holidays too, is stocking bars.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Pick a stocking, here's a patch, put a name on it, and personalized stockings. And I mean, I was at a show, they were selling them for $30 each
Yeah,
for a
absolutely.
stocking and a patch that you can engrave in 30 seconds on a fiber or a F1.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how fast it goes on my new. I don't know if you guys saw, but I got the X2 F2 in yesterday.
All that.
The Ultra.
We gotta see.
Yeah, another laser that's going to be sitting on the table until after this conference, at least. Here's a question from Victor. I know this is one. Do you use templates to make sure your patch is always in the same spot, or are you just a machine now?
So
Mm-hmm.
I found out that the industry standard was to eyeball it. And on average, it takes you about 2,000 hats. And I would agree with that information I was given before you can eyeball it pretty evenly every time. So we created a jig, which is just a little square template with a line down the center and a line this way. And this line is only necessary for like a circle, just to make sure you've got it evened out. But I just do an offset of the shape of the patch, and then I line this up to the line down the front of the hat, and then they're even every time. Now I can pretty much just eyeball them. But yes, we will
Right.
definitely be talking about the use of jigs, and because
I
you
still
don't
have
want
the
to eyeball
templates
it. Yeah. You don't want to
that you
eyeball
gave
it
me.
and then have them come back for a reorder, and then you are putting them in a different place now. So I want consistency.
I've been there.
Yeah.
I'm an eyeballer, and I've been in that situation, and I'm like, can you send me a photo of what I sent
The
you a
old
few
hat.
months ago?
Yep.
You're trying to compare it, and yeah, nope,
No,
I can't. And I
not a good
used to
look.
try to eyeball it, and I'm just like, oh, that's no good. That's no
No.
good. And then when you
Nope.
came and did the class here when we had one of our meetups, and
Yeah.
you pulled out the template, I was like, it's simple, yet
Yes.
it works exactly the way we need it. So, like you said, if it's not broke, don't fix it. GIMP is free for photo editing. It works.
Mhm.
A simple template cut out of acrylic works. I think we overcomplicate some of this stuff. It's really simple if we think about it. It's just
Oh
getting
yeah.
out there and doing it more often. Melissa says that's where I need help finding or fixing other people's files to engrave. And I see more and more people in the groups who actually offer the service to fix people's logos.
Mm-hmm.
If
Mhm.
it's taking you, honestly, if it's taking you hours to fix someone's logo,
Mhm.
and you can pay someone $20 to clean up a logo for you in an hour, do it. You'll
Yep.
save yourself so much headache and time. Your time is not worth it. You spend 4 hours, then you save $20. $5 an hour is not worth your time. So
Mm-mm.
outsource as much as possible if needed.
100%.
Recipe
If it's
tracing, I outsource.
yeah.
Photo editing, I outsource. Yeah, it's time is money, and we don't have
Mhm.
all the time. But so
Mhm.
that's another tip you can take from this is utilize the resources in these groups. There's so many
Mhm.
talented people that you wouldn't even think you could get. You can pretty much get someone to do anything for you
Oh yeah.
if you need to for
100%.
the right price. So
Yeah.
cool.
If it's going to take me more than 10 minutes, I'm definitely outsourcing it.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of these come out really bad too. Like they send you something and you're just like, I didn't know what that was. And then you send it to someone who knows what they're doing and they're like, oh, that was easy. I got it all right. I'm like, oh, I've been working on that for 2 days.
Yeah.
30 seconds
So
later, and it's say, here you go, finished product.
Mhm.
yeah, you have magic. So
Mhm.
utilize those people. But again, I know a lot of people are excited about the hat class. That was one that when we had other events, because this is the first time we're teaching this at the conference,
Yeah.
Yes.
and we had a lot of requests from people. Hats are it. I want to learn how to do hats. I want to be able to offer that to businesses and fundraisers or schools and sporting events. And how do I get it? And when we were like, we're adding a hat class, and we're like, of course, who else would we ask to do a hat class than Tabitha? Even though you guys are busy enough running a conference,
We
you
got
guys,
time.
yeah, for sure. We're so grateful and honored that you guys are part of the Next Level team, but also that you guys are still willing to share your talents on the things that you do every day. It's a lot of work because you'll be teaching 2 to 3 classes, you're running around helping vendors, you're running the hospitality team, you're helping to make sure me and Mark don't mess up, and that's
And
a
eat.
job in itself.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Tulsa, not so much. Dallas, you're not gonna have to worry because I'll just DoorDash hard 8 barbecue
Meats
all day,
the whole
all
week.
day. And just a word to everyone who's coming to the conference. Last year, I think I got brought because I was talking about how much I love brisket, and so many people brought brisket from their hometowns. Like our brisket is the best
Mhm.
from this area. I think I had easily like 10 pounds of brisket in my hotel fridge. This year, please don't bring brisket to represent your area. I want to know who has the best $100 bills in the country because everyone's is a little different. So if you bring me $100 bill from all the different regions that you guys are coming from, I'll collect them and determine which city has the best $100 bills.
There
So
you go.
feel free to bring them by anytime. East Coast, West Coast, Northwest. We have one person from Ireland, so which is going to be kind of cool.
Mhm.
I think they've already won the award of who's come the furthest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. We're going to let you guys get back to your day. But MJ and Tabitha are going to be at Next Level Laser Conference in 2 weeks, teaching about photo editing, teaching about the profits available in hats, but also they're just going to be around helping to make sure the event is run amazing, that you guys are all having a great time. Reach out to them, come on by, say hello, take some pictures. It's going to be great. If you have tickets, we can't wait to see you. If you don't have tickets, there's tickets still available. Last I checked, our hotel is completely full and our block is done. So you'd have to look for an offsite hotel. There's a ton of hotels in the area, but
Mhm.
you can still get tickets to the conference, or if you're local and you want to come and check out the vendor room, see what the 27 to 30 vendors have out there, newest tools and all the cool stuff. Come check it out, come hang out with people. But we look forward to all of you there. Like I said, ask the questions there, and we will see all of you in about 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yep.
2 weeks. So thank you, MJ. Thank you, Tabitha. You guys hang out. We'll touch base on some conference stuff. Everyone
Yep.
else, you guys have a great day, and we will talk to you guys all soon.
Bye guys.
Bye.